Hello, hello, hello. Good morning and welcome everyone, FPL managers. We are now in game week 4. The deadline for game week 4 will be at 6 p.m. today. My name is Hafiz and I would like to welcome my buddy Azmin to the show. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. I'm good. Get ready to go.
All right. So people are excited for Game Week 4. There are a lot of news, especially on the transfer. We want to have a look whether the likes of Casemiro from Manchester United are going to start this week. And the latest news from yesterday, Alexander Isaac has now signed for Newcastle. So whether he's going to start for this game, we are all excited. Isaac has been registered or priced at 7 million, I think as a forward. Okay. So maybe we'll touch a bit on them later. So let's see first. Okay. Would like to welcome first Rakan FPL to the show. Okay. Good morning, brother. Hope if they say everything is okay, you keep the question posted and we will answer later. All right. So we go to the game week 4 fixture, which will kickstart today at 7:30 p.m. Southampton versus Manchester United. The Saints versus Red Devil. An interesting match, early kickoff for this week. And then we'll go to the 10 p.m. matches. We have like 5 matches. Brentford versus Everton, Brighton versus Leeds. Both are high flying right now. Chelsea versus depleted side Leicester. We'll talk about that later. Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Looks like a must win for Liverpool team. Man City versus Crystal Palace. Okay, Crystal Palace also is not like an easy match for Man City. We have then London Derby at 12:30 a.m. Arsenal versus Fulham. Arsenal on top of the table right now. And then on Sunday, 9 p.m., we have Villa versus West Ham United. Both looking dire and both really needs a win. Wolves versus Newcastle United. Newcastle also really in good form after their 3 or draw with Man City last week. And then Forest versus Spurs to close game week 4 fixture. So, let's go to the first match. Southampton versus Manchester United. What can you tell from the team news and press conference?
Right. So we're looking at two teams that look like they were going to be in trouble, only for them to pull off some convincing wins, both of them last week. So Southampton, pretty much the same team. The biggest difference will, of course, be Che Adams coming in. So, he's after scoring, and helping to secure the win last week. So that is basically the main change for Southampton. And for Manchester United, of course, as usual, Marshall is out. So the question now is there's two questions actually. One is whether Casemiro could come into the reckoning, as mentioned by the tweet, and we don't know Ronaldo could still potentially feature. So I'm not sure what's the status with Ronaldo. Um, Although there was been talk about him going to Sporting Lisbon possibly, and lately even to
Napoli. Is it Napoli?
Napoli. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there, but it looks like he does want to leave. However, I don't know with the win against Liverpool, would it be some incentive for him to see whether there's any hope in this project? So because I feel that he's the type of he wants to win things, and he didn't look like he didn't feel like Manchester United was going to win anything, which is why he wanted to leave. But now that that win against Liverpool may have made him think twice. I don't know. So we'll see.
I
But
think
sorry, God.
I think
Yes.
I like the thing that you touched there. The transfer window will close soon. Okay, there's
Yep.
a lot of activity, or it's potentially this week match. Maybe we can see whether there'll be last minute transfer in and out from teams. So we need to be careful on that because the market will close somewhere in 31st August, right?
Yep. So in terms of what I think about this match, well, it's a tough one, isn't it? Uh, yeah, both teams are coming off the back of wins, so they'll probably want to look to maintain it. I would say that Southampton has a slight edge at the moment, crazily enough as it sounds, because I still feel Manchester United's team isn't settled yet. But Martinez put up a great showing against Liverpool. For someone who we criticized as being maybe short in stature, considering the positioning he's playing, but he's done well. So, but it's probably going to be maybe a 1-1 draw. Um, there's also a issue. Okay, if you look at the predicted lineup on an FFS, you got Bruno playing, and he's quite, you know, he's definitely not as further forward as he used to be. So I don't know how, it all depends on whether Casemiro goes in, and I'm not sure I agree with the predicted lineup there. I think Casemiro might start with maybe Fred, so we'll see, and my Ericsson might be benched. I think at this point it might be too adventurous for them to do that way. Maybe they'll change it midway, but yeah, I do think that Fred might start with Casemiro.
All right, we shall see later at 7:30 p.m. I feel the front lineup, which features last week against Liverpool, Rashford leading the lineup, and then Ilanga and Sancho. They could continue that, and maybe Ronaldo still will be on the bench. We'll see how it goes this later evening. Right, let's go to the next match. Brentford versus Everton. What about the latest news for both camp?
So Brentford is pretty much same old. With Ayer no, not quite there yet, but of course right now with um, um, I don't know who he might replace. He might replace Jansen, considering they already brought in me. But he won't be around yet, of course. So nothing to worry about there. So the only thing with Brentford is Damsgaard, whether or not he'll come in and how he will come in, because the chances are could replace like Da Silva, but then Da Silva has done well, so we're not sure. So maybe he'll still be on the bench first. Everton, same old. No DCL, and I don't know. Gordon keeps being mentioned as the subject of transfers. So it's slim pickings for Everton, and they got extremely lucky against Newcastle. I don't think they'll have that chance against. Sorry, they were extremely lucky against Forest to secure that draw, but I'm not sure that will happen against free scoring Brentford.
All right, I think I like this thing. We expect, I don't know, I expect a win for Brentford, but we'll see whether Lampard can. There's still uncertainty in Everton camp, especially on Gordon, right? They've been linked with Chelsea, and then they have like numerous link with the Everton side. So we shall see how it will be.
Well, yeah. So the recent one is Mopé. So
Yep,
it
yeah.
looks like Mopé will come in for Everton, but not, they're not quite there yet. So maybe a few days before the deadline. But whether or not that will make changes, I'm not so sure. Given Mopé he was okay in last season, but he's otherwise other than that he's been pretty inconsistent. So let's see how it goes.
We know the feeling. I know the feeling. We've been there. Okay. Right. Would like to give a shout out to Michael Johnson. Thank you for joining our
Hey,
stream.
Michael.
And let's go to the next match, which is Brighton versus Leeds. I'm excited for this game. As you know, Graham Potter's side and JC March are high flying right now. They both are on 7 points in league table. So, what's the latest news for both teams, man? Because there's a lot of interest of these two teams.
Yeah, so we got a lot of interest riding on these, Brighton, and also in probably Leeds. Brighton, unlike Arsenal at the moment, crazily enough as it sounds, they're consistent. Maybe not as explosive as Arsenal are, but they're pretty consistent. And the Graham Potter, and they, just like previously, they started off the season well. So no changes for Brighton. I think um, we saw a lot of for the EFL Cup midweek. So we're not going to see any more changes. Everyone should revert back to to the main first 11 lineup. So March and Trossard again as wingbacks, pushing up with Gross and Lala now behind Welbeck. So the thing with Gross, even though Gross and Lala now we place him behind Welbeck, but Lalana's pretty much a support player. He hardly takes any shots. He's there to help pass the ball and move, advance it. Because in terms of goal scoring ability, it is Gross, and even Trossard has a better, and even McAllister pushes much more and has a better chance at scoring than Lalana. Looking at the plus, also the other issue with Lalana is that because he's getting along, he's not quite as young. So given the fixture congestion we that's coming up, the chances of him getting subbed early or benched, rotated out is there. Okay, so for Leeds, so Rodrigo is on fire. I'm not sure why I totally did not notice that he's the top scoring FPL
Yep, I
player.
just I just checked just now. He's now the top scorer player with 35 points.
It's insane. So we were looking at the likes of Haaland or maybe Salah or coming being at the top, but nope, it's this guy, and all credit to the manager, Jesse March. Of course, so Bamford's absence doesn't seem to have hurt them at all. Yeah. So but based on what Marsh mentions in the tweet and what I've read in news reports, he's not going to be back so soon. I think they're going to be careful with him. And the good thing with Leeds is that they can afford to be careful with him because they are on a tear at the moment. Winning 3-0 against Chelsea, okay, although it does speak issues about Chelsea themselves, but you got to give credit to Leeds as well. And so you've got Rodrigo. Harrison is on sparkling form from it's the Harrison from the first season that Leeds came in. So it's really nice watch, great to watch. Then Aronson, one of the American players who've come in, of course, Jesse March's American allegiances, but it's paying off. So no
Yep.
accusations of any bias there. But I gotta give credit to what he's done with the defense. After losing Phillips, and of course, Leeds was never a defensively sound team, but they managed to keep a clean sheet against Chelsea. Having said that, where for FPL picks are concerned, it's a tough one, isn't it? For this one, you'd like both teams are in form, but at the same time, both teams, they kept clean sheets last week. So I can't. It's a hard match to call. I don't know how it'll go.
Yep, yeah, I understand. Just read a quote from March. Big question is Patrick Bamford. We understand maybe Bamford will not feature yet. And Rodrigo, if continue up front, the value mean he listed at midfield but playing up front. So there's a lot of value there. His pricing is keep increasing. I think it's now 6.4. Okay. And then related touch the bandwagon for this week. I think if you want to jump to any Brighton or Leeds United, I think this match should not deter you. This could be a high scoring game. It could be an open game. So I think just all in if you want to pick Rodrigo, Harrison, Gross, or even the likes of Welbeck or Trossard. Yeah.
Yeah, so with Rodrigo, who saw it? So I don't know if anyone saw this coming because Rodrigo has been around with Leeds at least for the past 2 seasons, and he's featured in and out of the team, and he
Yeah.
has never really been a goal scoring. So yeah, again, the love fest to Jesse March for somehow transforming him.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Next feature is my team, Chelsea versus Leicester. We heard Rogers mention some key injury. So, what the latest news for both teams?
Right. So we got basically the main person who continues to go out is Kante. So now the biggest question is what does so Kovacic might be available, so fine, he's not going to start. But the question now is for Chelsea is what is Tuchel going to do? How is he going to shape things up? For one thing, every FPL manager out there will think that he's an idiot if he doesn't keep playing James at wing back, and instead of at right center back. Why is he so worried about the defense when if he can provide a credible threat in attack, then that's what he should do, so that it places less stress on the defense. So now that prediction has Aspi, Silva, Cucurella. Um,
This match Koulibaly will miss because of
yeah,
last week
yeah.
he
So yeah, so he was forced to miss. So that means that so Chilwell will definitely come in. Of course, Tuchel is managing his, maybe he's managing the, in terms of his fitness and injury. But if Chelsea did do well this week, and which I predict them to do, you know, you might see Chilwell being a more regular starter, because we all remember when James and Chilwell started together, Chelsea did really well, tended to do really well, regardless of how they changed up front. So we'll have to see, of course. But of course, for FPL managers, the risk for Chilwell is, if they're gonna manage his fitness. But now against Leicester, though, Leicester are rubbish at the moment, whether it's going forward or at the back, and and
we can
if
see that Rogers did mention Madison is a doubt, so that's a crucial, a key
it
figure.
is crucial, because Madison is the only real performer in the attack at the moment. Of course, you got KDH or Dewsbury Hall there, who has been okay. Barnes came back, but Vardy has been poor. He's just been terrible, and it's also due to lack of service. I don't know whether his time is up. He's getting along, and if they forced to play Jose Perez there, then it's not looking good at all for Leicester. And I suggest, I think there's a lot of people already starting to sell their Ward Iverson combo that they had at the start, because it's looking like it's not going to pay off. I do think this is a match where Chelsea will uh, finally click and find that their goal scoring options, and I think Sterling will open his account this week.
All right, that's Chelsea versus Leicester. We go to your team, in Liverpool versus Bournemouth. There's a lot of interest to see that Liverpool need to bounce back from last week defeat. So, what's the latest news for both teams?
Well, now Klopp has apparently come out and mentioned that, okay, I made it. We need to find reinforcements in midfield. Okay, so
Hmm.
the fact that the injury issue and the problem. Thiago's such a quality player, but the problem is he's sometimes made of straw, so he gets blown away sometimes when so. And Fabinho is horribly out of form as well. So
Oh, yeah.
it's tough there.
Oh.
So it's a question of how they do this. Of course, Nunes is still out. So what you see is it's probably what I think so as well. Because even Jota is not around. But Firmino, let's face it, Firmino he's past it. I think he's no longer linking up as well. Um, he's just not there anymore. So we need to wait for at least two more matches before Darwin comes back. But of course, hopefully there will be knocked in some discipline in Darwin to to control his temper, because once he's back, I think Liverpool has much better chances of exploding.
Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. The midweek is League Cup, which Liverpool did not feature, so does that not
They are
count?
well rested. That's right. Yeah, Bournemouth, of course, but they probably played the second string side anyway. Um, so Bournemouth, so Solanke might finally come back, but he's just an option. But you got to give this one to Liverpool, don't you? So this might be the
Yep.
one week where we'll
Yep.
still keep our Liverpool. If we talked about, should we or should we not, reduce our investment in Liverpool, but against Bournemouth at home, they need a response. So this might be
Yep.
well, I'm hoping that will be a strong win for Liverpool this one. Having said that, for me, I only have two assets, anyway, which is the Salah TA standard.
Okay.
So yeah,
Right. Yep. I feel if let's say you still have, say you have Robertson or you with Luis Diaz, keep them for this game and see how it goes, because then you'll know midweek will be game week 5 will be in midweek next week, so that there's not a lot of gap there, so you can then make changes if you're still uncertain of this Liverpool form. Let's go to the next game, Man City versus Crystal Palace. I would like to know whether Pep Guardiola did mention any rotation risks for his team.
Well, Pep being horrible to fantasy managers, which is par for the course for him, refuses to actually at least mentions anything, at least in the embargoed portion, at least in the non-embargoed portion of his press conference. I don't know where, what will happen there. Of course, there's, on Twitterverse, there's been a lot of talk about whether Haaland might be rotated. The thing is, I'm not sure he will be, because I think that, they might manage his minutes instead. So why rotate him when he's doing okay. He's doing well. And you want to get the best out of one of your main attacking player, because we saw previously how they've chopped and changed in the front. Sometimes you'd have Foden in front, sometimes you'd have Jesus in front, sometimes you've had Grealish in the playing as a false nine, that kind of thing. So, and even KDB at one point. So with Haaland, they clearly adjusted the strat to feature an out striker, so he's definitely going to be in the mix. So it's just for me, it's the case of how his minutes are managed rather than rotated in and out. Okay, so sorry. So just to mention, I think Diaz was substituted out. Sorry, not Diaz, or Laporte. So Laporte most likely he's out.
Ake might miss this
Oh,
match
okay,
if he's
yes.
injured. So Diaz and Stones, we can see there why they predicted to start lah.
Thanks. So okay, so Crystal Palace. So this isn't updated. It seems that Zaha has not traveled. So
Oh,
Zaha will probably be out for this. So
okay.
that's kind of a big news. So and hopefully those who haven't jumped the gun and transferred him early, which some people have done, hopefully that doesn't happen. Hasn't happened, because now you got to kick him out again, because we don't know to the extent of his injuries, but he looks like he has picked up after an injury. And so most likely it could be, well, it's hard to predict how they'll go. It could be either Edward Day or what's his
Mateta.
name? Mateta, yes. Yeah, Mateta making his way into that lineup instead. So yeah, so
Yep.
that's the question that we can't really answer.
All right. Okay. Let's go next match. Arsenal versus Fulham. Lot of interest in Arsenal asset. I feel there'll be a lot of not so much changes for Arsenal, but what latest news for both teams?
Right. So both teams looking like there's no real issues. The only question is with, for example, Arsenal, as to whether Smith Rowe might get a look in, for example, but on this, or even Tomiyasu, but on the basis of how Arsenal are performing now, it's hard to see, and they have a decent rest period as well. So they have a good chance of managing minutes again as well, not really rotating players in and out of the starting lineup. I don't see any predicted changes, and on Fulham side either. So it's more a question of how we think, because both these teams are feeling good.
Yep.
Except for
Is
Fulham, of
London
course.
derby is more yep.
Oh, that's right. It's a London derby. Didn't notice that. So I I'm on my team. We'll look at it later, but I actually consider a triple up for Arsenal. But then can't really underestimate Fulham either. So this will be interesting match.
All right. Let's go to the next one. Villa versus West Ham. Okay, Gerrard and Moyes really need the win, especially West Ham, who lost all 3 games so far. Yeah. So
Yep.
what's the latest for both teams?
Bottom of the table, West Ham. Who would have thought? Okay, so Villa is almost pretty much fit, except for Diego Carlos at the back. So Konza Mings, they were quite decent as a defensive pairing last season. So you would expect that to be the case. Uh, that midfield though, it's a how they lining up an attack. So obviously FFS are predicting to Villa to start with the same uh, home lineup that they played at home. Yeah, so meaning that Bailey is benched. So the thing is with Bailey is that there's an argument out there saying that he's more suitable for teams on the counter, whereas at home they want to play two up front. Um, Having said that, they played three matches so far and they've lost both home matches and won their away match. And no, sorry, they've lost both their away matches and won their home match. So that's why those with Bailey may be a bit worried. Even though Bailey was one of the few performers in the match last week, but at the end of the day, Villa still lost. So it's looking very worrying for Bailey owners, to be honest.
Yep. So you're not sure, right? Bailey will start this week, right?
Yeah, I know. He was the standout performer, but he was also the one of the better players in the first game, although he didn't score. But he still got bench for the next match. So I don't know. It's a
Okay.
tough one.
So West Ham, everything is good.
Yeah, West Ham. Okay, so you got a team facing at the bottom of the league at the moment with 0 points on the table. The only team with 0 points. So I don't know if Moyes is too stubborn. Of course, West Ham won in their midweek Europa
I think
Conference match.
yeah, the new signing Smika did score. Maybe he got a chance to start this game. I
Exactly.
don't know.
So there's the two main attacking signups which West Ham desperately needed are in, which is Sameka and Maxwell Cornet from Burnley.
Burnley.
So you got to see whether he's gonna shake it up because the currently, even though they came close to scoring, but they haven't scored any goals, right? They're still on zero.
Yep, yep, yep.
Not a single goal as well. So he has to have a try. But because of that, it's probably better to stay away from West Ham assets.
Okay, until they perform. Yep, I agree with that. Next, Wolves versus Newcastle. Newcastle fans are excited. The new signing Isaac is now officially unveiled yesterday, and how they mentioned that he could actually feature if he signed on time. What do you know latest news for both team?
Yeah. Okay. So Wolves, you got all the players returning, and so it's pretty much I can't. I think even Adama is back. So Adama Traore is back. So it's a wild guess as to what will Wolves do. Granted, Wolves haven't been that poor, in terms of the defense, but attacking wise, if I remember correctly, they've only scored one goal. I can't remember. I have to check that one.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
but regardless, it's poor. It's poor. Uh, you you can't um you can't. It's hard to figure out. I think those of you who still have Neto, you know, you'll probably keep him. But because if Liage might shake things up, there's a slight risk. What if Neto suddenly gets benched? It's not that he hasn't been working hard. It's just that they haven't got any good results. So Guedes, a player that they brought in, you would expect him to start. He needs to hopefully bring in a difference. If he performs this week, it'll become a subject of interest as a nice differential for future. But they are playing against Newcastle, and Newcastle, well, still who are feeling really good about themselves, although they failed to win last week against Manchester City after the City onslaught. But they should it shouldn't affect their morale. However,
Yep.
what will affect their morale is the fact that Callum Wilson is going to be out again. So and the good thing is that the Newcastle management have planned for have predicted this. That's why they look to bring in another striker in, and the Isaac transfer. Okay, so he'll be eligible to face Wolves, although I don't think he'll start. At the moment, he'll maybe just be on the bench and come in. But it's looking good for Newcastle. This match is Newcastle's all the way.
Yep, yep, yeah. The Newcastle fan were definitely excited. Even I actually asked some of my colleagues and also my cousin on. I said they are excited and they cannot believe that Newcastle can afford this kind of transfer record if we can reflect back the
Once upon
thing
a time.
the era might actually right. They
Yeah.
cannot sign anyone. But now they can sign anyone. 60 million, right? Is record.
Yeah.
That's the
They,
record. So
yeah. So they can sign, and but I got to give credit to Eddie Howe for transforming the side last season, even though he brought in a few key players, but in the end, most of them still got injured anyway. So, but except for even Trippier who started, but the best player, of course, acquisition last season was Guimaraes. But the thing is, he's transformed the team around him. Joe Linton is suddenly was the player of the season last season. But he's been around for a while, so you got to
yep.
give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
So the
I think
biggest, yeah, the biggest change for this season is Pope as the keeper. So that's
yep.
definitely boosted it as well.
And looks like Dubravka could be on his way out to Manchester United if I'm not mistaken.
As
Yeah.
an understudy, another understudy for David De Gea.
All right. Okay. Next game, the last game for game week 4, Forest versus Spurs. Okay. Forest do present some good performance for the past 2 weeks, especially against West Ham and last week against Everton. So both team, what you can make up, man?
All right, so um, for us, of course, I don't think there's any real significant injuries to the lineup, so they should be fine. Um, Henderson, as a 4.5 asset, is looking really, really good, but still. But the problem is there's still a lot of other quality keepers out there, and obviously with Brighton keeper who's also at 4.5, so that's a challenge there. So you got Spurs who again will be well, they are decent. So the only person who's not around there is Romero. So Sanchez will
Yep.
come in as they continue with their 3-4-3 formation. So the question is now, is Richarlison going to get a look in? Yeah. So they not just Richarlison but Doherty. Yeah. So those are questions that I don't think Richarlison agreed to come to Spurs just to be a bench player. And I don't know. I wonder if Son might be at risk. Obviously, I don't think a lot of people have Son right now because, and let's face it, he's been poor. He's been totally out of the picture at the moment. So I think Son could be at risk for Richarlison to come in.
All right. As you mentioned, Spurs will be out. Romero will be out and he will not feature. Sanchez will replace him. The predicted lineup show Perisic could start again this week, and a lot of managers are still concerned his minutes. What do you think, man?
Yeah. So during the Spurs match when he was substituted, he looked like he was in a bit of pain. So, but given that now, okay, so he didn't play midweek, of course, but um, Spurs will play 3 matches in a row, so you could argue that this might be a match where I can't remember what. Let me check the fixtures. Do you know what the fixtures are? For Spurs, okay, I got it. So Spurs fixtures are so they play Spurs. They play Nottingham, West Ham, and Fulham. So to be fair, any of these matches seem to be safe for if they wanted to rest Perisic. Although I would argue if they would probably rest Perisic this one and play him against West Ham.
Hmm.
But yeah, and yeah, but at the same time, there's also the Champions League um, fixtures which start to come in. Am I talking nonsense here? No, oh, sorry, no, that's wrong. Sorry. So yeah, so that's the conundrum facing. um, whether or not Perisic will start.
Yep. Since the spaces between matches are quite tight, so we are predicting that Perisic won't start every game. So the likes of Sessegnon might come in. He might start this game and take out 70 minutes and then start again in maybe. We're just not sure, right, man?
Yeah, yeah. So I think we haven't. They haven't really. Have they scheduled it? I'm still trying to look at the Champions League fixtures. They know who they'll face, but the timing isn't quite there
Mm-mm.
yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
So
yeah,
later maybe we can run through again this UCL. We know UCL draw has me and Spurs has been potted with that's that's thing I also not sure which group are they in. Okay, right.
Group D and Group D.
Group D, yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Okay, let's have a look at the transfer in and out for game week 4 so far. These are snapshot last midnight, and the numbers might be increasing right now, but we can assure you the top transfer for this week, main, is who else? The top performer so far, Rodrigo from Leeds United, 1 million plus manager, has convinced he's the one to bring in him. And then second one, Perisic, after his 12 points performance last week, managers are sure that he might continue his performance. 648,000 managers has bring him in. Perisic price has also increased back to his first initial price, 5.5. Trippier, after his wonderful free kick, and then his red card has been resigned, means that Trippier will continue to play against Wolves this week. 558,000 manager has bring him in. His price also increased now to 5.1. Tony, you have brought him in last week. He continued to perform. Manager are convinced that he can produce, especially against Everton side this week. I'm sure that Tony will perform. 499,000, almost 500,000 has bring him in. And Saliba, okay, Arsenal kept a clean sheet. He produced a goal. 427,000 bring him in. Quickly have a look at transfer out. No surprise, Koulibaly is the most because he's been red carded. 438,000. Surprised with the second one, man. TAA looks like the managers are not want to
patient
part.
enough.
Yeah, be patient with him. Okay, 406,000. Saka, you thinking about bring him in? He's the third one to brought it out for this week. Neto, as you mentioned, Wolves inconsistency, and Darwin continue his traffic out. So what you make up from this top transfer in and out, me?
Yeah, I don't know who these people who transferred net only starting to transfer out Darwin now instead of last week. I don't know what they're. If you're gonna keep him, then you keep him. You know, now you're only after 1 week keeping him, you decide to sell him. That makes no sense to me. Okay, so the thing is, you got Rodrigo there and as the top transfer, and he was seriously he is seriously in my consideration as well. The problem is I also have a Brighton goalkeeper who I'm thinking of playing against Leeds. So this is a hard one for me. Because let's face it, Brighton are in top form, are good form, and Graham Potter is a smart manager. He'll be able to work on nullifying the Rodrigo threat. But but of course, if you're picking Rodrigo just for long term, and for me, yeah, it's hard. But yeah, I can see why people pick them up. Perisic again, I feel this is. I don't think the the Spurs the Forest Spurs match is a straightforward win for Spurs. I think they're gonna concede
Fight.
a lot of shots, but I think Forest are gonna put up a good fight. It's just a question of whether or not Forest will score. But let's remember that Forest do have a lot of new assets coming in. I think Dennis is one of them. So if Dennis gets a look in, and let's face it, Spurs are missing Romero, who's very solid. Sanchez is culpable to make mistakes. So I do think that Spurs will concede, but Spurs, Forest will still put out a fight, but I expect Spurs to still win. Trippier, nothing unusual there. I think you can bring it now that the City match is over, because a lot of people were thinking of bringing Trippier in after the City match was over. But but he decided to come in 1 week early. Tony, of course, and we talked at length about Tony, and so I'm happy I have him. Saliba is a bit of a surprise. Is this a case of the triple up we were talking about? Although in my case, I was looking at attacking with the Odegaard or Saka, but it's bringing Saliba in, yeah, not too shabby. But at the same time, I do think Arsenal will concede against Fulham, so I'm not convinced this Saliba move is the right one at this point. Yeah, I'm confused with the Koulibaly. Of course, is suspended, but TAA is what's yeah. I mean, against Bournemouth, I think you can wait one more week. To be fair, he could still return nil. I'm not saying he's a definite return, but I think it's worth the risk keeping him for this week, unless you just really need some changes to your team.
All right, okay, man. This is the traffic. And if you're thinking whether to bring in Rodrigo, 1 million manager has brought him in. So I think you should do that. I will do that if I have the space and the money to bring him in. Definitely. Okay, just quickly on the bus team for this week, Scout pick these 11 players for this week. Pope in goal, even though against away to Wolves. Walker, TAA, Perisic is there. Gabriel from Arsenal. Kulusevski against Forest. Maybe. Salah, Martinelli continue to be there. Tony, definitely. Jesus and Haaland is the usual suspect. What do you think, Min? Is this the best team for this week?
Oh, I don't understand what Walker is doing in there. I mean, maybe Cancelo isn't as attacking as he used to be, but I'd still go for him over. Still spend more money to go Cancelo over Walker. Everyone else pretty much okay. I'm a bit uncertain about Perisic. It's interesting to see that put Kulevski there, so that meaning that they don't think that Richarlison will Kadimi go Kulevski, so meaning he might have a better chance of going against Son. Tony Jesus, Haaland, no complete. Salah, no argument there. So, yeah, it's looking good.
Yep.
And Newcastle
And
to keep.
okay. So Min just touch a bit. We already touched in midweek, but there will be straight fight again. Salah, Jesus, and Haaland for captain pick this week. A lot of managers pick Salah, and Scout actually, if I saw in details, they also pick Salah as the best captain for this week. Do you agree?
Yeah, I don't see a reason not to go against Salah because again he's playing a promoted side. Remember, in the first week he played Fulham and 1 goal and assist, so I would expect that to continue against Bournemouth as well.
But yeah, yeah. Okay. Let's go to our team. I go to my team first, Min. This is my team. As boring as I am, I'm going to roll transfer this week. I don't see any point to change after the looking at the team news and quotes by managers. My team are healthy, and I can see my first 11 all are playing at home. So no point for me to transfer out and keep this transfer for game week 5 in midweek, where there may be more news and also more info after game week 4. We know where the potential players will be. Raya in goal for me, and then TA, Cancelo, James, and Cucurella. Okay, Cucurella, even though he might feature in back three, but it's okay. Okay, Salah, Diaz, Gross, and Martinelli all play at home. Salah as my captain this week. Diaz against Bournemouth, which he might score. Okay, and then Gross against Leeds. Anything can happen there, and Martinelli against Fulham. Mr. Consistency, and Haaland and Jesus up front. So I think my team is ready. I have locked them in. I don't think there's a significant injury in my team, so I think it's good.
Okay, so for me, I just hope that you do not regret having Andreas as your first start. It's just that he has the potential. Of course, he's playing Arsenal, and Arsenal have been doing well. It's just that I
Yep.
do think Fulham will
Yep.
score, and it's just we don't know Andreas will be part of it. But
Yep.
the problem, of course, for you is that it's hard to see who you would substitute Andreas out for. The most closest I can see is maybe no, not even Cucurella, because against Leicester is such a good matchup. So so good luck. I know it's not hard. Yeah, because Gross, I think you should play him.
Yep.
So no,
Yep.
it's hard to figure it out. Okay,
All right,
so
man.
shall I
Let's
share
let's
mine?
play your team. Yeah.
All right. So with mine is a case of I will be making a transfer. I just haven't figured out which one. Okay, so if you can see my team already.
Yep.
Okay, so right now I've got Henderson as the starting
So
lineup.
which one do you feel, Sanchez or Henderson? You have that
My
dilemma.
latest feeling is on Henderson is that the thing is I'm not sure either goalkeeper will keep a clean sheet, but I feel that Henderson will have more saves to make. But
I like
even
that. I
that,
like.
yeah, but it's very close because Leeds are attacking as well. I think it's a tough one. But the thing is, but common sense says go for Sanchez because Brighton are more established. Potter's, whereas Henderson is part of a only newly promoted team. So yeah, while I
But
expect
but
both
I,
teams,
but I feel Henderson has potential if, let's say, keeping clean sheet and more save point than Sanchez. That's what I feel.
you think so? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, thanks. Right, can't convince me to keep the same. So TA Trippier James, no changes, no nothing, no question marks there. Also not my okay in the midfield I got Gumares, KDB, Martinelli, Salah, and Bailey. So only Bruno G is the one who has not picked up any points yet so far this season. So that's who I may looking to change. However, I'm not sure because with Wilson's injury and Isaac's not going to come up yet. So I do wonder whether Bruno might be forced, not forced, but might be tasked with a bit more responsibility for goals for this one, given how he did for Newcastle last season, especially when Wilson was out, or because Dunn was just poor. Sorry, not Dunn. Chris Wood. Chris Wood has been poor since he came in. That's the one thing that's making me wonder whether I should just stick with Bruno G for another week. So the other question mark is with Bailey. So Bailey, lots of issues surrounding him. I haven't checked the price changes, but there was a lot of predictions that Bailey's price would drop this
Mm,
morning. I think the
okay.
price changes have happened, but I'm not sure. Um, um, so so and we talked about whether or not Bailey might start because he may be featured in more
Yep.
attacking.
As you predicted, he's dropped to
Oh,
4.9.
he's got 4.9. Oh, there you go. I don't like to rush for price changes anyway. Um, So I mean, we look at Rodrigo. I've been looking at Gross, and if I was sell to Bruno, I might even if I want to take a punt on someone like Saka or Foden. I've got plenty of options if I choose to sell one or either because I have 2.7 units in the bank, which
Mr.
I can
Rich.
play around with, which I'm pretty happy I have that. So it gives me a bit more flexibility. Up front, I have Tony and Jesus, so no issues there. Jesus is quite popular. Tony, as you saw, has been a lot of people have been playing him in for this week anyway. So the bench, yeah, that's probably gonna be my. I don't see any reason to just swap my bench around. So
Yep,
there
I
you go.
agree. Uh, if I were you, what I would do. Bailey
Yeah,
is the most uncertain, right? Bruno J is just he'll be playing, but we're just not sure about his output. Bailey, we are uncertain. You got money, why not? Let's follow the bandwagon man, Rodrigo. Don't deny him anymore. Give him the chance. Give him the love.
well, if Sanchez I decide to stick Sanchez on my bench, then yeah,
I
then
think you will do that. I think you will do that. You play Henderson and you bring him Rodrigo. And you know what's coming? 12, 13 points.
you're really seeing my thought, my transparent thought process are quite transparent to you now, huh?
I think because sometimes I'm so stubborn to follow this. You don't know Rodrigo. His performance has been performed for the past 3 weeks. He's the top performer, and the fixtures is there. And Bamford is not featuring. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
so the lot of
All
the lot of the standard typical arguments with Rodrigo is that it's not sustainable. Bamford's going to come back in. He's definitely performing out of his skin, but Sure. So what? Right. You're right. You know,
Yeah,
why question so much? Just put him
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Put him in. If he's not performing for the next 3 game week and do wildcard him or draw him out,
Sell him
that's
out.
what I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
And to
this
be
is
fair,
the early season that we need to catch up.
yeah.
That. Yeah,
And you know, you're not wrong. And because also the fact that, um, it's less risk because he's a cheap player. It's not like you're spending like above 10 units to grab him.
yeah.
It's
It's not like
murah.
buying
Murah.
Sterling, right?
Murah. That's why, because I said, you know how I predicted Sterling to score, but am I looking to put him on my lineup? No, because it's just too expensive. Whereas Rodrigo, easy,
Yep,
not so
yep.
stressful.
And
So
you
yeah,
have the money. I
and
think
I have the money.
you do it later. Okay.
Oh, we're putting me in a spot. Fine.
Okay. All right. Let's go
Yeah.
to question. I think Rakan Pia and posted some question. Just look at Michael Johnson did mention I set value at 7 million. I feel so, man. And if let's say he start performing this game and he's confirmed to start next week, and Callum Wilson has been declared to be out for a while, I think it's good value, man.
Yeah, but again, it's a wait and see game, isn't it? So, let's see. And of course, we can't predict that everyone will come in and easily adapt. You know, obviously Haaland and Darwin are proving, them that you can come in and immediately do well. Um, but yeah, still, but 7.0, if he does adjust quickly, he'll be amazing value.
Yup, yup, yup. He will fight with Tony Spot. I can tell you that. Next question, Rakan FPL, Chelsea versus Leicester, Liverpool versus Bournemouth, Arsenal versus Fulham. Which one high scoring game? What do you think, man?
Chelsea versus Leicester.
Okay. But I predict Liverpool versus Bournemouth also can be a high scoring game.
Yeah, it's just that less. I've no idea what's going on with Leicester at the moment. Whereas with Bournemouth, you got at least a settled side. Whereas
Okay. All right.
Leicester have injuries. Their first choice keeper is gone, and their second choice is hopeless. The second
Okay.
choices are hopeless, and they've lost Madison, which means that they're not going to have any goal scoring track. It could be all Chelsea.
Right. Okay. Fair. Next question. With Casemiro come into equation, Manchester United, could Dalo and Malaysia a good pun, yeah?
Oh, so obviously the question is geared towards whether or not Manchester United will now start to keep clean sheets. Um, I don't know.
So
I
wait and
wouldn't.
see, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't go for Manchester United defense at the moment until we see, because we don't even know whether Casemiro is still is he okay to play in the Premier League? I'm not sure. So let's wait and see with this one. Excuse me.
Okay, next one. Who to start? Da Silva, Brentford versus West Ham, or Neto versus Newcastle?
All right. So for me, I've got this, a bit of a crush on Newcastle. So definitely I'd start Da Silva versus Everton. I think they have a better chance because Everton are just not not there. Whereas Newcastle's defense is much stronger.
Yeah,
And they are Newcastle will be playing at home, and the Wolves attack have not been promising. So and they will probably do a lot of shake up this week to try to find the right
yeah.
formula for the attack.
I agree with Azmin. Even though the minutes of Da Silva, we are not certain, he might start from the bench. He's still good value. He could come in and score goal. He already produced that on the first game week. So I feel Da Silva. Next one, Rodrigo question. Rodrigo versus Brighton, bench or start? I think this is not a question anymore. Yes, you should start. He produced against Chelsea last week. What do you think, man?
Yeah, you can't bench a player who's in back on form and the best FPL point player at the moment. So, he could very well blank because it is Brighton. But if you already, because the question is, whether to bench or start him, which means you already have him. So if you already have him, then you need to start him. You can't not start him.
Definitely. If you have him, you play him. If you have not have him yet, maybe that's a different question, which Yasmin will answer. Fun for fun on Chilwell, mean? Like you mentioned,
But
Chilwell. Hmm.
yeah, I think it's a good part because I think I think Tuchel may have underestimated that, the fact that Chilwell is defensively quite solid as well. So it's just a case of him managing his, to his coming back from injury thing. So yeah, if you don't mind risking that he might not start the next game week because of the congestion, I think Chilwell is a good. I think he'll do well. I think he'll be. I think he'll even score a goal.
Okay. All right. Optimistic by Azmin. Foden or Gundogan if you want to take that third slot for Man City. What do you think, me?
The problem with Gundogan is
Foden
that
8
he's
million, right? Gundogan
the, pro-
7.5,
yeah, the
7.6.
problem with Gundogan is his underlying stats are not great. So, but which is the thing that he did the 2 seasons ago during the Boxing Day, onwards, where he went on a run of goal scoring.
I
Um,
think he now scored back to back, right? I think Gundogan.
Pardon? Yeah,
Gundogan. I think he scored back to back goal.
but I think I would still go for Foden. In fact, Foden is someone I'm looking at now.
All right.
Well, of course, but let's okay. Quite ignore the fact that there's still a lot of debate about him not passing again to Haaland.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Correct.
so it's a conundrum, but I don't think it will mean that good.
Mm-mm.
I don't see Pep punishing him again like he did in the first game by substituting you at half time, especially with City not winning against Newcastle. I think yeah, I would still go for Foden. He's got the raw talent.
Okay, good. Saka to Kulusevski. Saka to Kulusevski and no. Oh, this is the move that he's thinking to do. Me Kulusevski for Saka, cross for Neto. Looks good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Neto the gross move, but I'm not sure about Saka. But yeah, because I guess I'm just worried about the Richarlison thing, but I think Kulusevski is still safe for now.
Okay. Next, Watkins versus Antonio because Villa versus West Ham this week. Who will win this battle or head to head?
Okay, in this battle of claret and blue people, um,
Stuff one, right?
yeah,
Can I say I predict this West Ham could actually now get his first point on board. Could be.
I don't know. We got Watkins was rumored at the start of the season to not have a good relationship with Gerrard, so I don't know if that is impacting his performance as well. Yeah, and especially and with this, as we are this close to the transfer window, but anything can happen. So I'd say I'd say both players are gonna blank.
Okay. Don't blame
Sorry,
them.
Gabriel. I think both players will blank.
Adama Traore could start this game week. I'm not sure about his minute, man.
He could start because it depends on what. Because we really don't know how Bruno will shake up the lineup given that they haven't they haven't really scored much. So yeah, he could start.
Right? Haaland to Kane. The same question has been posted again. They are worrying about Haaland minutes. What do you think?
Still Haaland. Uh, City's better than Spurs, and I think City should win this one. Yeah. So
All right.
Haaland.
Could Liverpool keep a clean sheet? I think so.
Uh, I don't think so.
Oh, you're not so optimistic like me.
No,
Okay.
because I just feel that the midfield is bad. Yeah, there's no screen there. That's in form at the moment. So I think Bournemouth could still sneak a goal.
Okay. All right. So next one, Min. Saint Maximin or Bruno G? You have Bruno G, but if you don't have Bruno G, is Saint Maximin is something that you tempted?
Yes, so Saint Maximin is my other option. Failed to mention earlier. So I was talking about Gross and I was talking about Rodrigo, but Saint Maximin is also in the line, and so we're talking about Saint Maximin and Rodrigo who are listed as midfielders and doing terribly well at the moment. So yeah, it could be a if I wanted to because I want to keep my double Newcastle players, then Saint Maximin is an option. The thing is with I'm a bit worried with Wilson injured. Will Maximin go up top or will he play behind Chris Wood? So both options will do diminish his potential because uh, ASM feeding Wilson is so much better than ASM feeding Wilson. But at the same time, if ASM goes up top, he's not as effective. He's a bit. I think I mentioned this in my tweet yesterday that uh, ASM up top isn't gonna be as the potential for him is less compared to if he plays where he is right now, where he gave the City players a torrid time on the right on City's right flank. Um,
Yep.
so one thing that didn't become an equation here that we talked about was because Zaha got injured. Now Zaha is playing in the same position as where Saint Maximin did when he terrorized City. So if Zaha was fit for this one, Zaha could seriously come into consideration, even if he was playing at City, because I think there's a bit of a fixture proof there. And given City's defensive frailties were exposed against Newcastle, I would have thought that Crystal Palace would do much the same with Zaha, but without Zaha, then it's a different story altogether.
All right. Last question from Afos. Welcome, bro. Two free transfer and still no idea what to transfer. Burn it. I don't know about burn it if you can do some transfer, but I actually have a look at your team, Afos. Okay, you have a good team actually. You have Ramsdale, Diaz, TAA, James, Cancelo, Salah, Martinelli, Luis Diaz, Haaland, and Jesus. The one thing that you're not sure whether to who to play as your 11 spot, whether Nico Williams, Da Silva, or Andreas. Um, okay, I don't know, man. He has a good team.
Who's on his bench?
Andreas, Da Silva, and Archer. Hmm.
Gosh. Oh, that's
So,
a tough one.
so a tough one. I mean, if he wants to burn it, I can see the reason. If you want to make any transfer, I don't think you have money to upgrade the likes of like Rodrigo. Um, you will have a dilemma. I think if I'm in your position, I'm also not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe just simply change Archer to Greenwood just to use a transfer. I don't know. But at 4.5 million, Da Silva and Andres is the best value midfield, right? I mean, I don't think anyone else.
Yeah, 4.5. Andreas
Mm,
is crazy value. He's underpriced.
mm,
So
yep.
I,
Unless
I'm
you're not.
I'm okay. I'll be controversial and and wonder if Diaz might should be there.
Hmm. Okay, I like that. Against Palace, right? Okay,
No,
maybe.
no, no, no. No, not. So you got the
Oh, Luis
he's
Diaz, mean Luis Diaz.
he's got the City Diaz as well.
Yes.
Oh, he has both Diaz. He has two
Yes,
Diaz's
yes, yes,
there.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I'm wondering about the Liverpool Diaz. Yeah, but
Okay.
because
But
yeah,
playing against Bournemouth, mean I'm really reluctant to get him out.
I know, it's a very nitpick.
Risky. He could
It's
actually score a brace, or yeah, I won't do that.
okay.
All right, it's a dilemma, Afos, but I feel with your team, Bernie is not something that maybe something that you could consider, even though it's a rare case for some of it. I just want to touch FPL Salah Abdul. Last week he burned his transfer. he did not do any transfer because he feels that he has a good team. He just want
Wow.
to make changes whether to, he has Gabriel and he's thinking whether to use his free transfer so-called to Cucurella, but he did not do it and he paid off. Gabriel get 7 points, Cucurella got only 1 point. So that could be.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think we come to the end of the show, man. We already 1 hour past our 1 hour
Oh,
mark.
okay. Okay.
Your last word for game week 4.
Uh, hope you guys pray that I make the right move. Sell the right player with this Bruno G or Bailey because I'm really undecided.
All right.
Let's
I wish you luck also, man. I wish luck to everyone. Okay. Just would like to remind our deadline for this game before will be at 6 p.m. Okay. And based on the team news, more or less all are healthy. Unless you have Madison, he's a doubtful. He's the most doubtful one. If you have him, maybe you need to think of any changes to the likes of Mount, Luis Diaz, the 8 million price point. Okay.
yeah.
So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and stay safe and hope to see you in the next stream. Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Bye bye.
Bye.